Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Aradhya Bhagavan Brajesha Tanayas Tadhama Vrindavanam Ramya Kachidupasana Vrajavatu Vargena Vakalpita Srimad Bhagavatam Pramana Mamalam Prema Kumar Thomaha Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Patamidam Tatra Dharana Paraha Anarpita Charim Shirat Karunaya Vatirna Kalaho Samarpayitum Munnatojvala Rasam Swabhakti Shriyam Harihi Purata Sundara Dyuti Kadamba Sandipita Sada Hridaya Kandane Spuratu Vashachi Nandana Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jagat Mangala Advaita Mangala Gunadham Mangala Charitra Sada Mangala Jarana.
Hare Krishna, we welcome all of our dear listeners who have joined us over Facebook Live, over YouTube Live, and our dear listeners who have joined us over Zoom. We welcome all of you to this day 65 of Sri Gauramrita. Welcome everyone. Hare Krishna. Before we proceed, we would like to congratulate and announce the names of the devotees who participated in the quiz session from session 64. So we'd like to congratulate Hari Prasad Prabhu, Mother Flavia, Anjudi, Vaijayanti Lalita Mataji, Shweta Surya Narayan Mataji, Nutan Purohit Mataji, and Ranjani Gopika. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating in this quiz session. It inspires us. When you come forward and participate, it really inspires us. So we encourage every devotee to please participate in the quiz. You can send us your answers over Facebook page live or the YouTube page, or you can send any to any of our admins, or to us, you can send us your answers. So we'd really appreciate and beg you to participate in the quiz so we can get an opportunity to glorify you. Hare Krishna.
So today in session 65, we'll continue to describe the transcendental treasure trove of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's devotional pastimes, how the residents of Nadia reached Shantipur, how the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reaches Shantipur, the loving interactions of Sri Advaita Acharya, little Achyutananda, the son of Advaita Acharya, and Lord Gaura Sundar's loving interactions. And then we will conclude today's session by describing the all-important Phala Stuti, the benefits that we receive by listening to these transcendental pastimes by Sri Gaura Hari. Now, in our last session, we heard very vividly the description of the glories of Avadhuta Shiromani Sri Nityananda Ram. Then we heard about Lord Nityananda's arrival into Nadia, how Nitai consoles the residents of Nadia and gives them the life-giving message of Sri Gaura Hari that they should meet them in Shantipur. So now let's continue.
We see that Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, he explains in his Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, in the Antya Leela chapter 1, in great detail about how eagerly all the residents of Nadia, who were led by Lord Nityananda Ram and Srimati Sachi Devi, how they come to Shantipur to meet the Lord of their hearts, their beloved Sri Gaura Sundara. So it is said that Lord Nityananda and even Chandrasekhar Acharya had revealed to the Navadvip Vasis and Shachi Mata about the glorious sannyas name of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is Sri Krishna Chaitanya. So just meditating on this transcendental name had a miraculous effect on the residents of Nadia. They chanted out loudly this name, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, and they were glorifying him. So when they came to know from Lord Nityananda that the Lord has sent personal message that the Lord wants to see them in Shantipur in Fulia, in the home of Sri Advaita Acharya, they became so elated, so blissful, and they immediately decided to go and see him there. So all the old men, the young men, the women, the children, everyone hastened to Fulia, jubilantly chanting Hari Hari,
Hari Hari.
Along the way. Even the atheists, even the fault finders who had previously criticized Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, even they were now eager to reach Shantipur along with their friends. And they were saying to each other that, Sri Gaura, he's our divine. He appeared in Navadvip. But his real identity has been a secret. And out of ignorance, we maligned his spiritual mission. We have done such great aparant to such a personality. We must fall at his feet and beg for forgiveness. Only then we will be exonerated from all our offenses. So thousands of people, they were flocking near the Ganga. The boatmen who were going to take the people across the Ganga, they were all in a dilemma that how are they going to carry all these thousands of people across the river? Everyone wanted to be the first, and they could not risk crossing the river overloaded with people. So the boatmen were in great dilemma what to do. So then some people were so inquisitive, so eager to meet Lord Gauranga, they found their own means to cross the river. They went like in small, little dinghies, they say, they little tiny boats. And some of them, they tied themselves up in upturned earthen pots. They tied to their stomach the water pots, clay pots, and that would make them float very easily. Some groups of people, they made a raft out of banana tree trunks, and they started crossing the river Ganga. So in this way, many people found their own means to just somehow cross the river Ganga and somehow head out into Shantipur. It is said that even pregnant women who were carrying their little babies in their womb, they also were, they were breathing so heavily from the exertion, but they were also in the crowd. They simply chanted Sri Gaura Hari's name and they started the journey. Every single living entity of Sri Navadvip started on this journey, except for one soul, except for one personality who stayed back in Nadia. And that personality is Srimati Vishnupriya Devi. Because Srimati Vishnupriya Devi, she knew that she will not be able to go and meet the Lord of her heart, Sri Gaura Hari. Because the wife is not allowed to meet the husband who has taken sannyas. The mother can go, but the wife cannot go. Shachi Mata, her heart was breaking when she was leaving with Lord Nityananda. And Vishnupriya Devi said, no, Mago, you go. You please go, Ma, you go. I'll stay back. No problem. Vishnu Priya Devi stayed back. And the Lord actually reciprocated with Vishnu Priya Devi in a very, very, very special way, which will be revealed in a little while. But the Lord, you see, He is the Paramatma in everybody's heart. And this known of Vishnu Priya Devi not being able to come to Shantipur physically was known to Lord Gauranga. But he knew that my dearly beloved consort is not coming to see me. So he gave very special mercy to Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi. Remember the promise that Vishnu Priya Devi was given by Gauranga Mahaprabhu before he left, that as soon as Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi would remember him, the Lord would be present. And the Lord always fulfilled that promise to Srimati Vishnu Priya Devi. Thus, all the residents of Nadia with Shachi Mata and everybody, they were crossing the river Ganga. And for the blind ones, the lame ones, the way became suddenly broad and facile just by their remembrance of the names of Sri Krishna Chaitanya. A boat which was carrying hundreds found it impossible to make to the other side of the bank, and it capsized in midstream. But this did not deter the people. They somehow just, started swimming across the river, and they just floated and they went across. So the people's hearts were so inflected with joy that it seemed they actually were floating in an ocean of divine love for Sri Gauranga. And by the grace of the Lord, everyone effortlessly was able to cross over the river Ganga. The sky reverberated with ecstatic sounds of the holy name. The people had only one thought in their mind, that we have to reach Phala, Shantipur, to the home of Sri Advaita Acharya. So disregarding all comfort and all bodily needs, they joined the masses, chanting, Hari Hari, Hari Hari,
Hari.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya, Shri Krishna Chaitanya, as they were on their way to Phala.
And then let's discuss how the Supreme Lord reached Shantipur. All these devotees reached Shantipur, but in Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 11, Chapter 23, which is called as Bhikshu Gita, verse 57, there is a very, very important verse in the story of Avanti Brahmana, Bhikshu Gita. Etam sasthaya paratmanishtam adhyasnitam purvatamair maheshvi aham tarishyami durantaparam tamo mukundangrinishedhyasneva. The Avanti Brahman, he recited, I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. This was approved by the previous Acharyas, who were fixed in the firm devotion to the Lord Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now you all must be wondering, we were talking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu reaching Shantipur. What is the significance of this verse from Srimad Bhagavatam suddenly? This was the exact verse that was recited by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu after he took sannyas and he was roaming around in Radhadesh near Ekachakra that we had discussed earlier. Before coming to Shantipur, when he was in Radhadesh, he recited and meditated on this particular verse from Bhikshu Gita, of where Lord Krishna is telling Uddhava the story of Avanti Brahmana and how Avanti Brahmana used to meditate on this verse. Avanti Brahmana, he was a Brahmana in Avanti Kshetra, which is modern day UP Bihar area. And he was a miser previously. And nobody liked him. All the money, he would like to make money, but he would neither spend it on himself nor allow it to spend to others. And so nobody liked him. Everyone was criticizing him, but he didn't care about others. He had money. Money is the honey. But then when all his pious karma expired, he was robbed of everything. He lost everything. As a result, his family members snatched everything from him. And then he was just on the streets. He was rejected by everyone, his family, his friends, the society. Everyone rejected him. And so much so that he had to beg food from people to sustain himself. But then when he would go knock on people's doors and get some food, someone would come passing by and urinate in his food, spit on him. This is not exaggeration. This is how exactly is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam, these words, exact words, how Krishna explained to Uddhava. There's a very special reason why Krishna spoke this story to Uddhava. And in this miserable condition, he diverted his energies inward. And he tried to understand the root cause of his misery. Why am I so much suffering? Why am I so miserable? Is it because of my miserly nature earlier? Is it because of these people who are criticizing me or mistreating me? Or is it because of my mind? Yes, he came to this conclusion that I am suffering not because of these external circumstances, because of my previous bad karma or good karma or whatever. I'm actually suffering. I'm in this situation because of my karma, but I'm suffering because of my mind. That's the root cause of all miseries. And so instead of being revengeful against these people, let me try to understand why are their criticisms disturbing me? Why is their rejection disturbing me? There is something which is in me that is disturbing about these people, because the same qualities I despise in them are actually in me. Let's think about it. If the bad quality was not in us, how would we be able to even identify it in others? If we are able to identify in others, it means it is in us, because we identify that. That's why we know it even exists. Someone who is so pure in mind that he does not have any arrogance, any pride, any lust, any greed, no pride. That person, when he sees someone else acting in that way, he would feel compassion towards this person. He's acting arrogantly because he is suffering out of that arrogance. But because that arrogance is in us, we start judging, oh, he's being arrogant because if I was arrogant, I would be arrogant because of these reasons. So that person is arrogant because of the same reasons. That person may be arrogant because of different reasons, but we project our intentions on the other person. And so he said that rather, if that bad quality is not in me, is in me, I'm seeing in others, it's because it's in me. So let me try to improve that bad quality. Let me focus my time and energy in purifying that bad quality that I'm seeing in others, because that is the root cause. If that goes away, whatever others do to me, it won't disturb me. And as a result, he started feeling compassion on those who were trying to give him suffering. And he understood, hurt people hurt others. If we suffer, we try to make others suffer. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said to his leaders that try to keep devotees happy. And the leaders would say, how can we keep them happy? Prabhupada said, first you be happy. When you are happy, you will spread that happiness to your followers. And so, as a result, because of his not blaming others, but actually directing that energy inwards to purify himself, he started feeling compassion towards others. And now this story is told by Krishna to Uddhava as an example that Krishna is telling, this is how we must deal with suffering. Look at this Avanti Brahmana. Just imagine this person, this Avanti Brahmana, he was a worst miser in his life. And the society rejected him. Even if he would become a saint, everyone in the society would not forgive him, thinking what he has done to us when he was a miser. When he had money, he didn't give anything to us. And now he's acting as if he's a saint, and if he's whatever. And they would still reject him. But look here, Krishna is not rejecting him because of his past activities, past behavior, whatever the society is thinking. Krishna is not focusing on that. Krishna is appreciating him and in fact giving his example in the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Guinness Book of Pure Devotional Service. Srimad Bhagavatam. To get your name in Srimad Bhagavatam is something of a highest of high pure devotional service. Krishna is not saying, oh, he was a miser, I shouldn't put his name in I shouldn't take his name, give his example. No, he said, look, this is how we must deal with suffering. And this is the verse this is the verse when we recite that verse. In that verse, let me recite that verse for you all again. That the meaning of this verse that he recited was, I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by previous acharyas who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Sri Krishna appreciated this. Lord Caitanya Mahaprabhu meditated on this verse just after taking sannyas. This verse, which was spoken by this previously miserable Avanti Brahmana, but now realized Avanti Brahmana. And this verse is given to those who take sannyas in the Vaishnava order, that during your sannyas life, meditate on this verse. By body and mind, meditate on the Supreme Personality of Godhead with firm, fixed resolution. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was meditating on this pastime of Avanti Brahmana. This is a wonderful pastime of hope. Whatever others criticize us, tell us, whatever the society tell about us, we should be focused on what Krishna thinks about us. Because today the society may be glorifying us, tomorrow the same people will criticize us. And then day after, they'll again glorify us. So it's of not much value. What is of value is that it inspires us to take shelter of Mukunda. So Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Leela, chapter 1, text 94, he says, Shantipure Acharya Grihe Agaman Prathama Bhiksha Koilo Taharatre Sankirtan. After 3 days of wandering from Radhadesh, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to the house of Advaita Acharya at Shantipur and accepted alms there. This was his first acceptance of alms after officially taking sannyas. And at night, at the house of Sri Advaita Acharya, he performed congregational chanting there.
This pastime of Sri Avanti Brahman, the way Prabhu described it, it always is every time we hear it, we feel new realizations. So it's very, very, very beautiful pastime for each of us to meditate on, something for us to meditate on, uh, for our personal sadhana every single day. Beautiful, beautiful verse. Okay, so continuing on, Srila Vrindavan Das Thakur, in his Sri Chaitanya Bhagavata, in Anjalila, chapter 1, he continues that the Lord blessed everyone in Radhadesh with his merciful glance, and then he proceeded towards Shantipur. So when the Supreme Lord Sri Krishna Chaitanya arrived at Advaita Acharya Prabhu's home, Advaita Prabhu fell at the lotus feet of his beloved Lord. He began to weep, and he became relieved of the miserable pain of separation that he was feeling from Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Sri Advaita Acharya remained completely motionless. His arms were curled around the lotus feet of the Lord. Imagine, just like a beautiful, like just embracing the lotus feet of the Lord, like a creeper. He was just not letting go of the lotus feet of the Lord. And it is said that he performed Abhishek. He actually cleansed the lotus feet of the Lord. He bathed the lotus feet of the Lord with the tears of his love. This is this is Mahavishnu, Sadashiv himself, falling down at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and worshipping the lotus feet of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu with his own tears. And Advaita Acharya Prabhu was just not getting up from that position. That is the perfection, that position. To be able to embrace the lotus feet of the Lord is the perfection of life. So then at last, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu just bent down and he lifted Advaita Acharya and he picked him up into a warm embrace. And Advaita Acharya, now soaked by the ecstatic tears of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu, again was just falling unconscious in the loving embrace of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And calming himself and even Advaita Acharya down, after some time, the Lord finally sat down, and Advaita Acharya's house in Shantipur, it was vibrating with celestial sounds, as if the Gandharvas, the Kinnaras, the Devatas, they had all come down to greet the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the home of Mahavishnu, Sri Advaita Acharya. And here was little Achyutananda, the little son, the sweet little son of Sri Advaita Acharya. He was a charming and a very effulgent little child, and he was endowed with extraordinary intelligence, and he was a very bright, spiritually influenced child. Because of his young age, he was a little boy. He was not wearing any clothes, which is very usual for that age. And he was covered all over in dust, because he was playing around. But then when Achyutananda saw that Gauranga Mahaprabhu has come, little Achyutananda came running to greet the Supreme Lord. And his great fortune was that the Supreme Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was so happy to see little Achyutananda. When little Achyutananda just came and he, like a stick, fell down at the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya, the Lord lovingly took him into his arms. In spite of all the dust that was smeared all over Achyutananda's body, Lord Chaitanya did not mind that. He just lovingly just embraced the little child. And all the dust from Achyutananda's body was also getting onto the golden body of Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. And then the Lord very mercifully told Achyutananda, Achyuta, do you know that your father, Advaita Gosai, he's also like my own father. So that makes us brothers. We are brothers, my dear Achyuta.
Because the spiritual master of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was Ishvara Puri, and Ishvara Puri and Advaita Acharya were both god brothers and disciples of Sri Madhavendra Puri. So in that sense, he was in the Guru Varga. Advaita Acharya was in the Guru Varga of Lord Chaitanya, and hence was his father.
Like that.
Like his father. And That's why he said Advaita Acharya is also like my father, and your father is also Advaita Acharya, little Achyuta. So that makes us brothers. So little Achyuta replied, No, 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 no. You are the well-wishing friend of all living entities. All of these Vedas, they describe that you are the original father of everyone. So you are the original father. Neither my father nor me. You are the original father. This greatly pleased and just amused the Lord. This little boy, such big, big things he's speaking, and he smiled knowingly. Yeah, I can't argue with that. He didn't say that as if he was smiling and nodding. And all the Vaishnavas who were surrounding, they were amazed at the words of this little child. They said, these words that this small child is saying, they're not babblings of a mere child, but they carry deep import. Achyuta must be a great personality.
Hari, Hari.
And he was. Later, it will be revealed how great little Achyutananda was. And this is explained, this thing that Achyuta said, that you are the well-wishing friend of everyone, and you are the father of everyone. It is said in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Bhoktaram yajna tapasam sarvaloka maheshwaram. Suridam sarvadehinam sarvabhutanam yatva mam shantim richati. Bhoktaram yajna tapasam. This is the peace formula. If you want to be peaceful, if you can accept Krishna as the enjoyer of all sacrifices, as the Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasam, Sarva Loka Maheshwaram, the controller of all the worlds, Suridam Sarva Bhutanam, and the well-wishing friend of all living entities. If we can understand that and accept Krishna truly, that means if anything bad happens in our life, we still have the faith. No, Krishna is the well-wishing friend of everyone. He cannot do anything bad. In this seemingly bad situation, Krishna, as our well-wisher, has put in something really great. That faith we must have. That means well-wishing friend. And when Krishna is giving good situations, then we are thankful. Thank you, my well-wishing friend, Krishna, who is seated in my heart as the Paramatma, who is ever present with the devotees. In fact, Srila Prabhupada, in one of his lectures in Seattle in 1968, he said that there are three kinds of friends. One is a mitra, one is a bandhu, and one is a surit, which Krishna says, Suridam Sarvadehinam. The surit is the highest type of friendship. That is real friend, surit. Mitra, bandhu, surit. Mitra means social friendship. We have many social friends and we associate with them. That is just mitra, acquaintances. Bandhu is official friendship. We are there because of some business dealing or because we work together or something like that. And some mitra become bandhu, some bandhu become mitra. But surit is a special friend, which means one who actually desires good for the other friend. Those who are mitra and bandhu may not desire well for us. They are official friends. As long as the business dealing is going well, that's fine. As soon as the business dealing tanks, they may become our worst enemies. But Surit is someone who is always a well-wishing friend. We may have such friends as well. He is always expecting, how can I make this person a better person? Therefore, Krishna is saying, please surrender to me. Just like the father says, my dear boy, why are you acting independently? I'll take care of you. You are suffering. Just surrender to me. I'll give you protection. That is Surit. So Krishna is the highest kind of friend. Suridam Sarvadehinam. So the Phala Stuti of this particular pastime is anyone who faithfully listens and derives joy from listening to this pastime of Sri Advaita Acharya and little Achyutananda, meeting Sri Gaura Hari, will surely feel relief from all material distress. And such listeners will be granted the supreme benediction of meeting Sri Gauranga Mahaprabhu face to face in this very lifetime. And then we will definitely be able to see the beautiful face of Lord Chaitanya directly. Adyapi halila koren Shri Gaurarai kono kono bhagavan dekhi bare par, which means Lord Chaitanya's pastimes are being performed even now. Whoever is blessed by the Lord to see can see, others cannot see. Ekhane rohila grantha amrita lahari badan bhore ekbar bolo hari 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 hari.
So today we dedicate the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra to all the devotees of the people affected by the Ukraine-Russia conflict and all the people around the world who are in difficult situations. May the Supreme Lord Nrsimhadev grant protection and fearlessness to everyone. And if you would like for us to dedicate kirtan for you, for anyone in your family who may be celebrating birthdays or anniversaries, or yourself, or anyone in your family is sick, please do send us a message and we will dedicate the kirtan for you. Hare Krishna.
Umagyanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Vishnu Padai Krishna Preshaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Nami Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Prachari Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Nishatani Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare
So before we open up the lines, we'll quickly take the quiz questions for today.
First, who is the only personality who stayed back in Nadia, not going to Shantipur, and why?
Second, what is the significance of the verse from Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto of the Avanti Brahmana?
Third, what is the root cause of all our miseries?
Fourth, what is the perfection of life that Sri Advaita Acharya showed us?
Fifth, How can one attain peace?
Sixth, who is a Surit?
Seventh, what is the Stuti of listening to these transcendental pastimes?
Thank you so much, dearest Ranjani Gopika. These are perfect quiz questions. Thank you so much for them. Now we can open up the lines for any questions, comments, or reflections.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories goes to Srila Prabhupada and Gurudev. And thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji. Wonderful session. So we learned life lesson from Avanti Brahmana. So what we need to do, what we need to think when we are facing the sufferings, right? Yeah, it's really a life lesson, good life lesson. As Mataji has told already, even if we hear again and again, it will be new to our ears and we can able to follow that. Yeah, it's very wonderful life lesson. But Prabhuji, sometimes now, practically speaking, sometimes we forget that. Okay, internally we will not focus in our mind internally, and externally we'll think that why all this are happening to me. I'm doing the right way. Sometimes they will think right, especially me. Sometimes earlier I was thinking, but now after getting the devotee association and hearing more about Krishna, I'm able to focus internally, slowly, not much, slowly. I'm just doing, I'm learning from everyone, right? So slowly I'm focusing on it, but sometimes we are fail to do that. Prabhuji, why is it so? Because we are thinking the miseries is a big one, and forgetting Krishna, the devotion service whichever we have on him, and we are forgot to understand that one. So please let us know how to deal with that. Sometimes we are forgetting, not always. Sometimes we are forgetting the devotions on Krishna.
Yeah, that's a very good question. What to do when we forget these different lessons? Uh, we may intellectually know these lessons, but they will become realizations when we apply them. So even if you once start applying these lessons, whenever you remember, one time we forget, another time we forget, third time we remember, apply it immediately and say, let me apply this lesson. After some time, it'll become a nature habit that as soon as we are having this, immediately our mind will go, what gave me relief last time? This thing gave me relief. Because if you apply it and you feel that relief from the suffering, then you will say, this is the solution. Then your mind will automatically go back to that solution to that suffering. So apply in a way that you feel relief, and then it'll turn into realization. The intellectual learning will turn into realization. So that's one way, but that's why we associate with devotees as well, so that we can be reminded of this again and again. So we should, keep our sadhana up. We should keep chanting. We should keep hearing the lectures of Srila Prabhupada, of our gurus, and read Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita at least 10 minutes, 15 minutes daily, one verse at least every day. And that will keep us uh, reminded of these things. But ultimately, the fact that we are suffering is a reminder from Krishna itself. Because we don't like to suffer. We are eternally blissful spiritual souls. We don't like to suffer. So as soon as we are suffering, immediately, if we are disturbed, that means Krishna is saying, hey, this is not your natural position. Like when you're seated in a chair which is very uncomfortable, you always try to keep adjusting till you find that comfort position. And so similarly, when we are suffering, it's like Krishna is telling, find that comfort position, which is always under Krishna's shelter. So this suffering itself is a reminder, kind of, that we should do it rather than trying to find of course, we should find the immediate solution to the suffering. There are two kinds of solutions. One is immediate solution, which will temporarily solve the issue, and whatever we have to do, we should do it. but we should also have a longer term solution. How to make sure that it doesn't happen again? I don't get disturbed again. In that second part of the long term solution is this, is it's actually my mind. Let me try to purify this. What is this quality that disturbed me about the other person? That quality is in me. Let me see how I can make efforts to improve that, and then chant so that I can get divine help to purify that particular bad quality. And so that's a long-term solution, but we should always have a short-term solution, yes, but also implement this, work on this long-term solution. Keep working on this long-term solution.
Yeah, true, Prabhuji. As you said, a wonderful answer. Yeah, slowly focusing on our mind towards Krishna. The miseries are not a bigger thing. Yeah, as you said. Yeah, it is very true. I'm realizing slowly. That is one. And thank you so much. And for wonderful bhajan as well. The way you both sang, right? And dedicating for all of the people in who were suffering. So first time I'm seeing, because I didn't attend many lecture, it seems. So yeah, many times I thought to say this one because you people both are dedicating for everyone, right? For other welfare also. Thank you so much. The harmonium music you're playing is also good. Mataji is playing Kartal also very good. Keep going on, Prabhuji and Mataji. We keep here to hear more from you both. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji, Prabhuji, and with pranam.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you so much.
One Mataji, thank you, Prabhu. One Mataji had sent a message to speak this verse again. I believe you are asking about the Bhikshu Gita verse of Avanti Brahmana. It's in Canto 11, chapter 23, verse 57. It says, Etam sa asthaya paratmanishtam adhyasitam purvatamair maharshibhi aham tarishyami duranta param tamo mukundangrinishevayaiva. I shall cross over the insurmountable ocean of nescience by being firmly fixed in the service of the lotus feet of Krishna. This was approved by the previous Acharyas who were fixed in firm devotion to the Lord Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
We hope that this was the verse that you were asking us to recite.
Vinita Matari Prabhu.
So now we'll move to Champakalata. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Prema.
Hare Krishna Mataji and Prabhuji Nanath Pranam Mahakrishna Shri Prabhupada and Gurudev.
Hare Prabhu.
I love the class so much. I just loved it so much how Achyuta and Gauranga Mahaprabhu took sannyas and he was at Advaita Acharya's home, and my favorite part was how Achyuta was telling that we're not like brothers, right? Because you're the supreme personality of God, and you're mentioned in the Vedas. So I love that part. So Mataji, I have a question.
Yes.
So if so when Gauranga Mahaprabhu was born, this Gadadhar Pandit was around 50, right? 40, 50? Right?
Gadadhar Pandit, no.
No.
Gadadhar Pandit is just 1 year younger to Gauranga Mahaprabhu.
Yeah, Advaita Acharya.
Yes.
Yeah, he was 40, 50, right? Years old?
Yes, 50. I think
50, yeah. So when Achyuta, how old was Achyuta then when Gauranga took sannyas?
Yeah, it's maybe 7, 8-year-old.
7, 8-year-old? So how can you have such an old father, right?
Yeah.
If one is young, then you will have around 45-year-old father, right? So how does he have like a old father, like If
Well,
he's 7, 8 years old.
well, in those days, you see, they would have children, like even if you see the life of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had
They
13 children, a lot of children. Even Ajamil, he had so many children. But Advaita Acharya, his youngest son was Achyutananda. So Achyutananda was the youngest that he had. And so, it was normal in those days to have children even at that age, so to speak.
Okay, Mataji, I didn't know the past. I don't know the past still.
Even my grandmother and grandfather had children when my mother's eldest sister was having a baby. My grandmother also was having a baby. So my eldest sister's, my mother's eldest sister's daughter is elder than my mother's sister, youngest sister, which means my youngest Masi is younger than her niece.
Imagine that.
Huh,
I don't know.
What
Mataji?
happened? It's a little confusing.
Yeah, but I understood most of it. Thank you, Mataji. Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you, Beta. Haribol. Okay, any other questions, comments, reflections?
Mataji,
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, if there are no other questions or comments, we can end here. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.